Peace, family. Peace, 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 peace. All right. I hope you guys are having one second. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. Listen, okay. This idea came to me about temptation, right? I know whenever we doing something new, right? It could be anything. It could be, you on a diet. It could be you, being clean from addiction, whatever. And I'm not only talking about, getting high, because there's all various types of addictions, right? It could be food addiction. It could be, shopping addiction. It could be sex addiction. It could be, all these different types of addictions. And a lot of times we like, you know what, I'm a do this, I'm gonna be able to do this, right? And then you are faced with temptation, right? This is one of the things that you have to start understanding and realizing, right? The more you are able to pass up the temptation, right? And one of my mentors, Bob Proctor, one of the things he used to say was, is like you sacrificing, right? In this here universe, there are certain laws, okay? Like the law of gravity, a new law that I didn't know exists, the law of lift, right? Because in the law of lift is basically, we say gravity, is a law of gravity. But then you ask this question like, well, how is it that, the birds and the planes are able to stay in the sky, right? This is called the law of lift, okay? And I had got that from Kevin Tredone. Right now, that does not mean you do something foolish, okay? Do not, honey, do nothing crazy, okay? When I say the law of lift, do nothing crazy, okay? But listen, you have the ability to create the life it is that you want, okay? Now, whenever you are creating, right? First of all, you got to understand is a mind thing, okay? If you are eating a certain type, recently I started watching I Am Surviving Vegan, right? And there's a couple that's on Instagram, and pretty much they talk about, different things, far as like the food wise. And I learned something. So our ancestors would say that each and every day we're supposed to learn something new each and every day, right? And one of the things Bob Proctor said is either you creating or you disintegrating. Is either you learning, okay, and not just learning, but also applying what you have learned. Because, some people say, well, is some of the stuff, it doesn't work. It does work. Are you applying it? That's really the key, because, I could say, well, I'm going to do videos on, getting out of your comfort zone. But if I'm, just doing the same thing each and every day, or just staying, I'm going to give you guys an example. I remember when I said I wanted to do my speaking engagement, right? 1 second, family. Isn't this so beautiful? Is certain things money just can't buy, all right? And when you start putting your happiness on a pedestal as opposed to anything outside of you, you're going to start seeing you are going to start manifesting all your true desires. Why? Because in order for you to manifest your true desires, you have to be in a high vibration, right? You have to be on a high frequency, just like those things that you want to manifest. Now, when I had first put out, I wanted to do a speaking engagement, right? I believe that the universe always putting people on our path for a reason. And I remember this one particular day, I was doing Uber, and I had met this passenger named Thomas Owens. You're probably like, you're giving out my whole name. But Thomas Owens, right? And I was listening to Les Brown. And as I was listening to Les Brown, Thomas had came in my car. Passenger, never met, never seen him. Didn't know Thomas from a milk carton. And as Thomas got in my car, he recognized the voice that I was listening to, Les Brown. So me and him started talking, and we developed this friendship, right? That was, it was, you know, how sometimes you like, oh, well, I don't know this person, so I don't know if, you know, if I trust this person. And it's not really that you don't trust the person. It's more so that you don't trust your intuition, that gut feeling that's telling you probably like, oh, you know, stay away from this person, or this person got bad intent, or you just had this weary feeling and you don't know why you had this weary feeling because you can't fathom, you can't put it into words. But remember this, energy is made to be felt, not seen, okay? It's made to be felt. And if somebody make you feel a certain, or if you start feeling a certain way, then that means that person is not in harmonious vibration as you, okay? And so I met Thomas, and then Thomas, he was like, oh, you know, do you have any, because I was telling him my goals, my desires, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be on stage, I'm gonna be speaking, I'm gonna be doing all this, right? And so Thomas said to me, he was like, well, do you have any professional like photos of you, like, you know, or whatever? So I was like, and he was like, if you got to do all of that, that means that, you know, you don't have it. Right? I was like, all right, okay, right? So Thomas was like, he was very kind. He was like, I'm gonna pay for your photos to get professionally done. Then I met this amazing photographer, right, who took my photos and stuff like that. And I'm trying to see where I'm going with this. And so, all right, so that happened, right? And I kept on listening to Bob Proctor, right? Reprogramming my subconscious mind, because that's what it's about. It's about being aware of the things that you do. Is about you stepping into your greatness. Is about you challenging yourself. You can't say this stuff don't work if you don't try it. If you don't put it into action, radical action, of course it's not gonna work, because you're not even trying it. You just waiting. You like, and the reason you waiting is because of the fear. It's because of the fear, right? That's why you just keep waiting. And so this one particular day I was listening to Bob Proctor, and shout out to Bob Proctor, because he really like changed my awareness. Like, you know, Bob Proctor is not here in, you know, his physical avatar, but he's here in spirit. And, you know, he really changed like my focus, like me becoming more aware, me, you know, paying attention to why I do certain things. And I remember this one particular day, I was listening to Bob Proctor while I was doing Uber, and I just got this feeling like, do, you know, a speaking engagement. And I was like, what? You know, and I was afraid. I was afraid to do the speaking engagement. And, you know, I just took the leap out on faith. So whenever I'm doing something, it's like, it may seem radical. It may seem, you know, spontaneous. It may seem like, you know, in the moment, real quick. And the reason being is because I'm not going to talk myself out of it. Right? And, you know, some people who's not living or playing full out, they not understanding. So they'll say things like, oh, well, you better be careful, because they full of fear. Or they'll say, oh, well, you don't even know that person, full of fear. Or they'll say, you know, because they don't trust their gut. And so what I did was I did the speaking engagement. And I say that to say this. Whatever it is that you want, the universe is always conspiring to work in your favor. Is always conspiring. But you have to, you know, take the leap. You have to show the universe that you're serious. Just a few minutes ago, I really didn't want to do this video. It was, you know, and that's what I noticed. Like, the more I'm starting to work more on me and paying attention and focusing on my happiness, and the more I'm getting to know myself, is like, you know, like at times it's like, oh, I don't want to, you know, be vulnerable, right? And then I still do the video, because one of the things that really capture my attention is, you know, me getting to my deathbed. And I want to be able to tell stories of experiences where, as though I'm like, oh, you know, telling my great grandchildren, right? Like, oh, I remember the time I did this. Like, they coming home from school and they like, you know, they were scared, or they got into an argument or whatever. And me just being able to tell them stories of my experience, to me, that's everything, right? And me being able to show my children, like, I was afraid to do this, or I was afraid to do that, but I still did it. And it gives them the ability to start realizing that they are the creator of their reality. This is another key thing that I started understanding. The reason why some people don't feel like they the creator of their reality is because they've been so programmed to believe that somebody else outside of their existence is creating their reality. Check this out. If somebody is creating your reality, if you have the idea, right, like, oh, somebody else is creating my reality, that means you're going to wait, right? You're going to wait your whole entire life thinking that, oh, well, somebody else is going to come and fix my life. And that is the biggest game, right? Because no one is going to come and fix your life. You have to start understanding that, in the words of Dick Gregory, one of the things he would say is a game. You got to start understanding that you are the creator of your reality. You are creating this. And this here universe. And there's certain universal laws that if you abide by those laws, you can have whatever it is you want. You can be whatever it is you want. And it does not matter. And you could do whatever it is you want without violating the rights of others and the laws of this here universe. And I'm not talking about man-made laws. I'm talking about the laws of the universe. So I just wanted to come on here real quick and say you have the ability to create whatever life it is that you want to create. Sometimes we tend to go through things and we don't know why we're going through those obstacles or whatever it is because maybe you in violation of the laws of the universe. And you don't have to believe me, but just look at your life. Look at your life and start seeing, well, this, I don't like this, and start analyzing it. Why don't you like what's going on in your life, right? And that's what I started doing. Instead of me focusing on, the subscribers so much, me having 1.4 million, in this company, me having 1.4 million YouTube subscribers, I started focusing more so on me eating healthier. I started focusing on more of, my health, my happiness, peace. And then the money is going to come, in the long run. But everything is about perspective. Everything is about perception. Everything is about how you see things. If you can change the way you see things, everything in your here universe is going to change. But if you constantly keep on vibrating at a low frequency from the food that you eat, from the things that you watch, from the things that you listen to, guess what? That's creating your reality. Because in order for you to tune into those things, guess what? Or even sleeping with people. Because I even told you guys, having sex with certain people. If you are tuning into those frequencies, right? Those low vibration frequencies, whatever it is that you felt on the inside, how you felt about yourself on the inside, that's why you tend to do certain things on the outside, right? Like maybe, you probably don't feel too good about yourself. So then what you do? You go to comfort food. You go to food for comfort. Or you may have sex for comfort, right? To escape your reality, or drugs, or whatever it is. Sometimes we say, oh, addiction. And then we think of addiction like just drugs and drinking. There's various forms of addiction. And just because somebody don't do the addiction like you do it, it does not mean that you're not addicted to stuff. And one of my addictions is eagerness to learn. Right? Eagerness to learn. Eagerness to understand that I can change my life. Eagerness, when I go home, I'm going to listen to stuff that is going to reprogram my subconscious mind. Even when I'm going on these walks, I'm listening to things to reprogram my subconscious mind, right? And when I go home, I listen to stuff about food, and then I work out. So it's like an ongoing thing. And me doing this, right? It creates this vibration. Remember, we are all energy. It creates this vibration, this frequency. It puts me on a higher frequency. And the key is we all have the ability to get there, right? The thing is, are you willing to sacrifice? That's the key. Are you willing to sacrifice? And no, it's not going to be, probably the easiest thing, right? Because every day I'm asking the universe guidance. Universe, give me guidance, right? Give me guidance. And, I keep on listening to stuff to reprogram my mind, right? And that's what you want to keep on doing. You want to keep on listening to stuff because this is not a one-time fix-all, right? This is something that you continuously do to tap into your God ability. Okay? And with that being said, I love you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.